Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation's Facebook Live, coming at you from the North American CF Conference. My name is Piper Beatty Welsh. I am an employee of the foundation in the Community Partnerships team, and I'm also an adult with cystic fibrosis, which is why I am so excited for our broadcast tonight, because we are going to be talking to some community members about different ways that you can get involved with cystic fibrosis. So first we're going to hear from the Havies, who I have here, and they have a child with cystic fibrosis, and they're going to tell us a little bit about how they get involved at the local level with their Parent and Family Advisory Council.
Yeah, sure. So soon after our son was born, he was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, sorry. We knew that we wanted to get involved, so we started to attend fundraising functions and starting to reach out to other families. And one of the functions that we attended was a family advisory board put on a family day where there was CF vendors came, the clinic staff and other CF parents were there. And it was just a good resource for us to learn about the CF community and what was available to us. A couple months after that, we learned that the board was accepting new members, so Rachel and I applied, and we were accepted, which was very happy for us. So. And then, since we've been on the board, we've helped put on family days, we've arranged speakers, we've got sponsors, we got the clinic people to come help us out as well, and so it's been pretty valuable for us. As far as what the board is, there's usually between 8 to 12 parents. We try to keep a pretty diverse group as far as age-wise, newborns up to teenagers. It's been a really valuable experience for us, and I think it's done a really good job for the care of the families.
Yes, as Matt said, we have done a lot of different things with the Family Advisory Board over the last 5 to 6 years. So with that work, I wanted to kind of expand a little bit out of Indiana, and that brought me to kind of look around and see what my options were, and I started being part of Community Voice Foundation about a year ago, and that is something that has given me an opportunity to have a bigger voice. There's about 800 different family members and adults with CF that are part of Community Voice. We do lots of surveys. There are different communications and different kind of mini boards and committees within that. Some of those have been information about how to better communicate with your care team. I am part of a research committee as well as on the editorial board for newsletters that will be coming out from Community Voice. So we wanted to just kind of take that step away or continue with the work from FAB and go a little bit deeper with that work with Community Voice.
Well, guys, thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's really inspiring, and your child is very lucky that you're so involved, but we're lucky too. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And I think next we are going to hear from Bonnie Binker, and she is a grandmother to a young lady with CF, and she is going to talk to us a little bit about why she's involved with Great Strides and Passion fundraising.
Well, thank you, Piper, for inviting me to speak about two of my favorite subjects, my granddaughter Delaney and Great Strides. We got involved with Great Strides soon after Delaney was diagnosed at 15 days old. She's now 7 years old. We met with the foundation and heard about all the different things available to us, and we knew we were walk people. We knew that that was going to be our niche. So not only did we decide to have a family team and get involved with the fundraising, we decided that we were going to become part of the team that was going to plan our walk. So if you're looking for a way to get involved and maybe fundraising isn't up your alley, think about getting involved in actually planning your local walk. In South Florida, we have 6 walks, and each of those walks have a different flavor to them. And that's part of the great thing about Great Strides, because you can bring to your walk something that's special about your neighborhood or your community. They all don't have to look the same. Ours happens to be a beach party because we're in South Florida. And then Passion fundraising came along, and a lot of people ask us, what's passion fundraising? It's exactly what it says. You take something you're passionate about and you turn it into a fundraiser. We happen to do several for our family. We had one just last week, which was a tailgate party for an away Dolphin game. We take over a restaurant, and everyone watches the game, and we raise money, so it's a win-win for everyone. We also have a kickball tournament, which is in its 5th year. The first year it raised $4,000. This past year it raised $40,000, and it's expanding. What we do is we have about 32 teams. They play each other all day, and then the winner of the tournament plays a team of NFL players. So, what we try to do is say to people, what do you love to do anyway? If your group loves going out to Saturday night dinner, say to your friends, you know what, this Saturday night, instead of us going out, I'm going to barbecue for all of us. And instead of writing that $50 check, to pay your bill, pay it to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. Passion Fundraising has put the fun back in fundraising.
I think that's so inspiring, and it's so wonderful to hear that the way you incorporated your community into raising money to help find a cure for your daughter or your granddaughter and all of us that are living with CF. So thank you for that.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So next we're going to hear from the Strubies, and they are going to tell us a little bit about why they are involved with advocacy and also with patient research.
So last year was our first time at NACFC, and this is our second year here. Our son Major is 3 years old, and he has cystic fibrosis. We found out when he was just 7 days old. Truthfully, I've always taken the medications that he has in his hands for granted. We're fortunate that he was born and quickly on albuterol, hypertonic saline, Pulmozyme, these great drugs that have come to market before him. And I was afraid to put him in a drug trial at such a young age. He was only 2 last year when we came here. And after watching all the research and all the presentations and being reminded of all the people that came before us that brought these drugs to market, I was really encouraged to join a drug trial. And we literally walked out of the conference, got home on Saturday, and I got on cff.org on Sunday, went to the clinical trial finder, and we were talking to somebody at a research site within 5 days. So Major's been involved in that.
Yeah, that was really a scary thing to do. Jackie said, you're talking about putting a 2-year-old and giving them a medication that hasn't really been approved for 2-year-olds yet. So that's a little scary. And the trial that we found, we did have to travel for, and that was also very scary, given the fact that you never know what's going on. We have a lot of obligations. If you don't make that trial, you can potentially be removed from it. But the thing I would say is to any parent who's thinking about doing it is put your child in there. It's not a scary thing once you get into it. Yes, there are obligations, but at the end of the day, like Jackie said, it's the people that came before us that gave us the hypertonic saline. It's the people from your generation that made it available for our son to do the things that he does, and we really just feel the need to pay it forward to all of the other generations that are going to be upcoming, make sure that they have the medications that they need, so that we can just continue to move the whole ball forward.
That's really wonderful to hear. And of course, part and parcel with getting these new drugs to market is making sure that everybody has access to them. And I hear that you guys are also really involved with advocacy. So can you speak a little bit as to why you do that?
Yes, definitely. So we started advocacy a few years ago, and that has been by far the thing that I think both of us have been most passionate about on our CF journey so far. We started at the local level, meeting with our congressmen and our senators in district, and have started going to DC and meeting with them at the national level as well. And it's been really impactful because, like you said, Piper, if we don't have a way to get these drugs in patients' hands, then the 56 trials in our pipeline are for nothing. And so that's what's most important, is that we make sure that Major can actually get these drugs and that everyone with CF can have access to these drugs. My suggestion to anybody that wants to get involved with advocacy is contact your local chapter, try to go to some local meetings, get involved, get to make a relationship with your congressman and your senator. We have a relationship with our congressman now where we'll update him quarterly, what's going on with Major's appointment. We had a bad one, we had a great one. He's part of this fight with us now, and we want to keep him updated so that when we have needs like we've had over the last year, it's not a brand new conversation every time.
Yeah, and advocacy is really where it is, getting everyone what it is, what the trials are about. We need to get those in the hands of people and be able to have that relationship with those senators, with those congressmen, and it's scary. I mean, that was probably the hardest thing for us. It is scary, but the reality is we are the experts on it. I mean, in our state, we have the longest tenured senator in the country. I mean, he's been in the Senate longer than I've been alive. So to go into that meeting is always very intimidating, but the reality is those are the people that ultimately have the decision, but we have to let them know what that decision needs to be. And if we're not going to be the voice, who will be? So if you're thinking about getting involved, I would say reach out, like Jackie said, to the foundation. They can at least put you in the right direction, and if it's not for you, there is probably something that will be for you that you can then step in and step up, because at the end of the day, all of the fundraising we do, all of the family advisory councils, it's all for naught if we can't get the medications into the hands of the people we love.
Absolutely. I really couldn't have said it better myself. So thank you guys so much for joining us. And thank all of you for joining us, because this was just a really wonderful conversation. I would like to remind you all that if you visit cff.org, you can learn more about programs like Community Voice and the advocacy program that we just spoke about, and all sorts of other really great ways to get involved. So thank you and have a great night.